Film fans of YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, your movie apprentice, and today I continue my Studio Ghibli watch along with Porco Rosso, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. This film follows our titular character, who is a seaplane pilot, as he tries to hunt down seaplane pirates. Now before I get into this review, if you like what I do on this channel, consider clicking that like button, it really helps with the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this coming all the time. Without further ado, let's get into this review. This is the sixth film in the Studio Ghibli canon, not counting the very original one that was distributed but not produced by Studio Ghibli. And on the sixth attempt, I have to say, this is the first Studio Ghibli film that was disappointing to me. This whole plot rides around the fact that it is a human pig that is flying around in a seaplane, but in terms of plot elements, there's very little to go on. Now don't get me wrong, most Studio Ghibli films I've watched up until this point have had a very baseline plot that is very simplistic, but when you come in with a plot of seaplane pilots set during wartime and this pig potentially having a curse, which is the reason why he is a human pig, you expect a little more. This film does everything it can to ignore all potential plot points and just focus on the character, but the thing is, there's very little about the character that you get to know. You know that Porco Rosso is a seaplane pilot that became this human pig at some point and ended up becoming a bounty hunter after the war, but there is very little specified about his time in the war or where his curse came from, and his relationships with different characters are very sparse indeed, and the fact that it's all about him hunting down seaplane pirates and the seaplane pirates wanting to get rid of him, there is very little focus on that as well. Most of this movie is a repairing montage, and while it does give some great character moments for some of the minor characters such as Gio, which I will say Gio is probably my favourite part of this movie. She has a lot more character to her than the actual lead character does, though her motivations when it comes to her relationship with Porco are a little bit inconsistent and are a bit of a stretch to believe, but she was at least likable, so you can sort of see why certain characters grew attached to her during the latter half of the movie itself. Porco's character is mostly just this cocky guy that wanders into bars, and it's just one of those things where you don't really get to know much about him throughout the length of this film. I will say this film does have very entertaining dogfight sequences. There are a few plane battles in this that are entertaining to watch, are well shot and choreographed, but the problem with it is there's this whole build up to certain dogfights throughout the film, only for the solution to come not in a dogfight but in other means, which is a minor spoiler for those that haven't seen it, but it's one of those things I feel like have to be mentioned, because for a film all about dogfighting and plane flying, the fact that they play very little in the closing act is a big letdown for me. Some of the characters, like I say, are enjoyable. They all are recognisable, all have their own personalities, but they're all quite paper thin in personality. The art style in this isn't as strong as the other Ghibli films. It feels very washed out for most of the film's runtime, which I feel like they're trying to go for an old school, old wartimey look, but the fact that it's not black and white and the fact that it is in colour doesn't really add much to that style if that's what they were going for. And I also have to really point out the fact that this film is only an hour and a half, just over, and it felt longer than that. I was feeling the runtime. This film felt longer than what it was, and for a film that's a nice tight hour and a half, it's a disappointment. It's not a good sign when your film is relatively short compared to a lot of other films, not just in today's society, but in a lot of the Studio Ghibli canon. A lot of the films are about 2 hours. This one's an hour and a half, and it feels long, and I can't really put a finger on why, because there's a lot of scenes in this, but not a whole lot happens, and it drags on a bit, and there's not as much dogfighting in it as I would have liked to have seen. Overall, Porco Rosso is a step down in the quality I've come to expect from Ghibli through my watch through. There are some scenes that are good and some memorable characters in it, but motivations of characters, plot threads that are clearly ignored or just touched upon but never really explored, and a lack of a satisfying payoff in the final act, they all add up to what for me is the most disappointing film I've seen with Ghibli so far. And whilst everyone I've seen so far is something I'd probably watch again at some point, this is something that I don't feel like I am going to be in a rush to come back to. So with that being said, I would say that Porco Rosso is a lukewarm cup of tea. So Porco Rosso, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to the latest Ghibli film coming out in February? Coming up on the channel, I aim to get through all of them by the end of the month, so I've got another 14 more films to get through and review for you all. Hopefully get a few new films out as well, and maybe starting a podcast again. I'm not 100% sure, I need to chase up my friend about that, but regardless, if you want to see all of this, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to like the video. It really helps with the algorithm, really helps the videos get out to more people. So until next time, my name is Josh, I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thank you for watching, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. While you are here, if you haven't done it yet, please feel free to drop a like and consider hitting that subscribe button for more views coming all the time. And also, while you are here, there are some other videos over there that you might want to sink your teeth into. Have a good day, guys, and do enjoy.